So, welcome to this morning's class. We're going to start in hero's pose. So you could use the block. You can use the block and the brick if your knees are a little bit unwarmed up. I'm not sure if that's quite a technical expression. You could sit on the end of a bolster. So if you put the brick across so that it would be able to support both sitting bones, it just gives you that little bit more height. You can still bring the knees together and take the heels out as wide as the hips, bootlaces down on the floor, toes pointing back, and then sit up nice and tall. And it just means that you're not sort of experiencing that deep tightening of the calf muscles that we can get if we sit down a little bit too low. If you're super flexible in the knees and have great mobility, then you could even be on the floor and be comfortable. That's okay. We'll bring the hands and just have them sit here on the thighs. And take a little time to roll the shoulders back. Working out the neck. It's a little bit stiff this morning. And slowing the breath down. We're just tuning our minds in, tuning our breath into what we're about to experience on the mat. I'm going to draw the belly in a little bit and lift myself up. So as I do that, I'm going to take the hands behind, move the bricks and the blocks out, and then bring the heels underneath the sitting bones, toes tucked under, and give myself a little bit of a toe stretch. And then from there back into all fours. I'm going to move the brick to the front of the mat so it's ready for use a little bit later on. Allow myself to spread the hands out, get that feeling of stretching through the palm of the hand, through the tendons, the ligaments, the muscles. Come into a neutral position, so push away from the floor a little bit, draw the belly in, and then I'm ready for cat-cow. Just drawing the chest forwards, rolling the shoulders back, tucking the tailbone, pressing the hands and shins to the floor as the head drops, feeling the back open out as I spread the shoulders out. Inhale. Exhale, spreading those wings wide. Working with your own breath, your own speed. I'm going to come back into neutral and then start to barrel roll. So I'm going to take the ribs out to the side, up, over, and then down towards the floor. So just rolling around gently. So getting a little bit of movement into the hips, rolling around through the knees. Getting some lateral loading into the spine and the discs. And take it in the opposite direction. Up to you if you wish to bend the elbows around and move around a little more deeply. I tend to keep a little bit straight through the arms. That's just really that's what feels comfortable in my arms, shoulders, and hands as I'm warming my spine up. Come back into the center. We're going to lift up onto the fingertips and then take cat-cow from there. So draw the chest forwards and exhale. We'll just feel the stretch a little bit further down the spine. Come back into all fours, bring the fingers right up to the front of the mat. Lean in for a down dog. So it's taking the hips up and back. The chest sink towards the ground. Then that first stretch through the shoulders and the back of the legs. So again, just easy work. Yourself to spread your toes, spread your fingers. Work in a way that feels good for you in down dog. Can be different experience every time we come to the mat. So therefore, why does your down dog have to look the same every day? Nothing wrong if it does, and you're happy with that. But if you like to move it around a little bit, that's fine. And come into a plank, bring the knees down, directly underneath. Tuck the toes on the right foot under, slide the foot back. Allow yourself to take the left hand forwards, palm facing into the center line, and then work into that rear shin a little bit more as you lift the leg away from the ground. And we'll bend the knee as the lifted leg. And then as the exhale, we'll try and take the knee a little higher. So just pulse it up towards the sky and then bring it back. Pulse and bring it back. So there's just a little bit of a contraction in the buttock taking place, keeping the belly strong. Draw in. Got one more. Then we bring the hands down, knee down to the floor. So it might only be an inch or even less. But it's more about that contraction taking place and activating the buttocks. We'll take the right hand out, left lean back, draw the belly in, lift the foot. Take a little bend into the knee, and then a little squeeze with the butt. So think about trying to contract your buttock more than using the hamstring. So your mind-body connection is deep into your buttocks rather than the leg. And we're ready to finish. Bring ourselves back down. We'll take child's pose. Knees nice and wide. So it doesn't have to feel that particular sort of little clench. It doesn't have to feel big and strong. It's just getting a connection. The buttocks and the glutes themselves can be surprisingly difficult to activate. You might think that every time you squat down, bend to sit in a chair, that your glutes are firing up, but it's not necessarily the case that they're doing it evenly or in a way that's really good for the rest of the body. You might have decided to take some little habits into their own mind. So it just gives us a way of bringing them back into life. We'll come back up from that child's pose and move back into down dog. And this time we're going to take the feet out as wide as the mat in our down dog. And let ourselves walk our hands back far enough in down dog so that heels can come to the floor, straightening legs. or as close as we can get. Take a few moments here to kind of let the sense of the strong down dog position that we're in form on our bodies. Trying to send the tailbone back and lifting up. It's a big stretch through those back of the hammies, into the calves. You can even feel it into the arch of the foot. That's how strong it is. You take the left hand away, twist underneath, take hold of the right ankle, outside edge if possible. Again, still press and draw the hips up. There's a combination of pressing into the hand trying to lift the hips up through the core. Hands down. Take a breath. And then we'll take the right hand over and rotate underneath. Again, lift the hips up and back. Activate those core muscles. Strong through the standing hand. Remember to breathe. That might have been a note to myself. And then come back. Walking the hands back into my regular position for down dog. And bring my feet back onto the sort of hip distance normal position I take. And I'll draw the right leg up to the sky. Scissor, opening the hips out to the side a little bit. Spreading the toes, nice straight leg. Bring that foot down to the floor. And we'll take it on to the left side. Again, trying to keep the shoulders square to the ground. Stretch out through those toes. A little wave. And then bring the foot back down to the floor. Now walk the toes into about halfway off the mat. And then my feet are flat on the floor. And I can walk fingers in towards the toes. Spend a little time here, inhaling and exhaling. Just letting the spine hang out of the pelvis. And trying to encourage the weight to move into an even sensation through the foot. So it's not in the heel, not in the toes excessively, but it's somewhere between the two. I'm going to bend the knees a lot and move myself down into a chair pose. Draw the chest forwards a little bit. Take the hands through and out. Draw the belly in, drive through the legs to lift up. Take a little back bend. Let the shoulders open out more. And then drop the hands down behind. Let the chest lift back up. Bring hands in towards the heart as you take a breath in. Taking a moment to just feel the body. Shake it out a little bit, walk right up to the very front of the mat. Have the feet hip distance apart. Swoop the arms towards the sky. Bring the hands back in towards the heart as you are starting your exhale. Starting to fold over the thighs, weighting to the toes and softening the knees as you come down. Then to take the right foot to the very back of the mat into a deep lunge. Draw the tummy muscles in. Lift the fingers away from the ground and just draw the hands alongside the body. So the chest and the ribs lift off the thigh. Float the arms forwards in line with my body, and then press the tailbone down, draw the body up into high crescent. Hands come to the floor. Take a little breath. And step into the front of the mat. In deep. Hands onto the hips, soften the knees a little. Flat back to lift up. Inhale high. Hands into the heart. Fold over slow. Long and deep. Rotate the left foot back. Deep into the lunge. Checking the knee stays over the ankle. Come up onto the fingertips. Let the shoulders roll back a little bit. Press out through the back heel. And again, we'll lift the hands gently away from the floor. Then to the side of the body, get that little bit of the initial lift. Belly drawn in. Float the arms out. On the exhale of your next breath, and the tailbone down. Lift the body high. Hands to the floor. We'll step into the forward fold again. It's a super slow start. Hands onto the hips, soften the knees, flat back to lift. Inhale high. Hands into the heart. We'll take a moment. Feel that in the body. So when we move really slow, generated a lot of heat in my body, and my breathing is heavy. So I'm using a lot of muscles to work. We'll float the arms up towards the sky as we breathe in. Bring the hands through the heart center and exhale down to the floor. Up onto the fingertips and forwards. Fold it in. Step the right and left leg back into plank. Lower the knees. Take a little breath. Bend the elbows back. Chest to the ground. Just going to nudge my brick out the way with my nose. Inhale the chest up into low cobra. Exhale down. Inhale. Keep the thighs planted to the floor if you're able to. Roll the heels out, toes in. Make a little bit more space in the lower back. Last lift. Bring the hands right to the bottom of the ribs, shoulders and elbows back. Press into the floor. Tuck toes underneath, sit back onto the heels. Head to the ground. So like child's pose, we just got the toes tucked under. And we'll lift back up. Down dog. We'll draw the right knee into the chest and bring the foot through. Lunge. Take a little breath. Step forwards into a forward fold. Hands onto the hips, soften the knees and a flat back. Step up to the front of the mat. Inhale high. Hands through the heart. Exhale over. Fingers on the floor. Halfway up. Holding deep. Left and right leg back into plank. Knees to the floor. Take a little breath. Chest to the ground. Slide the feet back. Inhale up. Low cobra. Exhale down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale down. Two more. Last one. Hands to the bottom of the ribs. Press back. Sit back into that semi-child's position. Forwards onto all fours. Roll the shoulders back. Lift into your down dog. And draw left knee through for lunge. Take a little breath. Step in forwards. Hands onto the hips. Soft. Knees flat backs to lift up. Then we'll just step up to the front of the mat. Float the arms to the sky on the inhale. And through the heart and exhale down to the floor. We'll take the right foot back in for lunge. Drop the heel in ready for warrior two. Bring the hands alongside the body this time or onto the thigh if you need. We'll take the right hand forwards and draw that up to help cartwheel ourselves into our warrior two. Float the hands high. Roll them down gently towards the floor. We'll step back to plank. Lift the hips up. Float into plank. Got half plank. You can bring the knees to the floor if you wish. Bootlaces change. Up dog. We lift up. Roll the shoulders back. We'll lift up into our down dog. A few breaths here. We'll draw the right knee in. Lunge. Take a breath. Press off the toes. Forward fold. Hands on the hips, soft knees and a flat back to lift up. Inhale high. Hands into the heart. Exhale down. Left foot back, drop the heel in ready for the warrior two. Again, the choice of hands to thighs or hands alongside. Hands alongside, you draw the left hand through and up. That to help with the lift. Inhale high. Slowly come down to the floor. We step back into down dog again. Take a breath. And then on an inhale, we come into plank. Half plank for exhale. Shoulders back. Bootlaces change. Up dog. Roll the shoulders. And down dog. Connect with your pubic bone. Draw it back and up. Draw the abdominals in afterwards. Trigger it from the pubic bone. And then we'll draw the left knee in to lunge. Take a little breath. Step forwards into our fold. Hands onto the hips. Soft knees and a flat back. Inhale high. Hands into the heart. Take a moment. Open the eyes. So inhale high with the hands. Through the heart. Exhale to the floor. Taking the right foot back. Drop the heel in. Ease into my warrior two. Take the hands towards the sky. Rotate the chest and hips. Bring the back heel up towards the sky. So we turn the hips towards the front of the mat. We're back into high crescent. Bring the hands to the floor. We'll step back into our plank. Inhale. And then down for half plank. Up dog. Rolling back into down dog. So although I said plank, I did move through down dog. That's kind of my mistake. Obviously my body wanted to do that, even though my mind was thinking something else. So my body followed itself. I will draw the right knee in. Bring that through for the lunge. Exhale. Press off the toes of the back foot into the forward fold. Hands onto the hips, roll the shoulders back a little bit as we lift up, just to help. Inhale high. Exhale down. Left foot back to drop heel in. Warrior two. Inhale, hands high. Rotating to the front of the mat for high crescent again. So tailbone down, belly in. Press out through the back heel. Connect the whole of the front foot to the floor. Spread the toes out a little bit. And bring hands to the floor. Step back into a down dog or a plank, with your choice to take a breath. Come forward into your plank, half plank, to up dog, down dog. We'll draw that left knee in. Lunge. Take a little breath. Step ourselves forwards. Hands onto the hips. And then we can lift up. Now I've just moved the brick right into the front edge of the mat on the center line. Slowly draw the arms up towards the sky. Hands into the heart. We're going down to the floor again. We'll take our warrior two position. As I draw myself up, move the brick back right next to the front ankle on the inside. Let myself lift up, extend out, bring the palm down onto the flat block underneath me, take the top arm up towards the sky. Now, you may be able to get lower comfortably and still be able to rotate your chest fully to the side of the mat. But part of the height that we're using with the brick and support is to encourage the rotation through the spine, keeping the hips on the center line and being soft through that soft through the top shoulder. So if you come down super low, then you could have your hands on the floor, but the question is, would you be able to rotate as well as you can when you're a little higher and still have a nice even breath? We'll slowly lift back up into Warrior Two, pressing down through the front thigh. Turn the palm on the front hand, moving to Reverse Warrior. Come back into Warrior Two. Float the arms high and bring the hands down to the floor. Now I'm going to take a little breath. Slide the back foot out a little bit further. Spin the front foot out about 45 degrees. Start to take the left hand forwards and let the left knee hang out to the side a little bit. Gradually bring the hand down to touch the bottom on the right cheek. Then inhale the hand back up towards the sky and bring it back down on the inside of the front foot. And float it hand forwards again, lift it up. Rotate it over as you exhale, touching the right buttock. Coming back up. Bringing hand to the front of the mat, so just rotating through the chest. Inhaling up. Roll back. All the way to the sky. And comes onto the inside. This time we turn the foot back on the front to forward position. Lift the back knee. Negotiate around our brick. And walk the hands around to the long side of the mat. Turning the toes in. Come right up onto the fingertips. The flattest, longest back you can manage. Then squeezing of thighs together, drawing the muscles back in towards the hips. Head stays in line with the rest of the body. Breath. And then we'll walk on the exhale the fingers through to the front of the mat. Step into the forward fold. Bring the hands onto the hips, soft knees and a flat back to the inhale high. Hands into the heart. Exhaling down. Taking the left leg back for the lunge. Dropping the heel in, bring the brick in. Allow ourselves to bring the hands alongside the body. Left arm draws us up. Into our Warrior Two. Extend forwards. Bring the hand down onto the block. Ideally, the heel of the hand is directly underneath that front shoulder. Turn the head to the side. Open the chest. If you're noticing that your knee moves in towards the center line a little bit, hopefully with the arm there, you can brace one against the other so that it doesn't come too far in. Again, we'll try to send the hips over to the left a little bit, being conscious of the center line. Now position, it's just a fraction, it counts. We'll lift slowly back up into warrior two. Turn the palm on the front hand for that reverse warrior. The fingers down, back of the leg. Back, warrior two. Float the arms high. Bring them down to the floor. Spin the back heel up. We'll let the foot lie, lengthen out a little bit further as you bring the knee to the floor. Spin the front foot out 45 degrees. Take the right hand forwards and up and over. Exhaling towards the back of the mat. Hand comes onto the left butt this time. Inhale high. Bring the hand to the floor. Loading through. So there's nice slow rotations through the spine. Nice movements through the shoulder. Take one more of those. And we'll bring the hands on the inside. Move the brick in out of the way if it's needed. Turn the foot back into parallel. Lift the back knee. Ease ourselves around to the long side of the mat. Now we're going to turn the toes out this time and walk the fingers towards the back of the mat. Going to bend the back knee and then pivot on the front heel. Sit back onto the heel that's underneath us. Lifting the body as high as you can, bringing the fingers close to the body. Draw the thigh back in towards the hip. And then we're going to move gently across to the other end of the mat. So we'll keep it as low as we can. Walk the fingers. Ease it down, careful of the knees. Plenty of respect. Flex the outstretched foot towards you, draw the thigh in. Fingers walking as close to the body. We want to get as much height as we can. Might even be able to take the fingers away from the floor briefly. And then we'll bring ourselves back up to the center. Take a little breath, walk the fingers round to the front, let the toes turn with us, and step into the front of the mat again. Take a little breath. Let's bring the hands onto the hips and lift up. Inhale high. Bring the hands through the heart. Exhale down to the floor. Walk the feet out as wide as the mat, and then turn the toes off of the mat. Sink your bottom down to about the height of your knees. Let your body hang through the center, and then draw the belly in, drive through the legs, and roll yourself back up. And the inhale, take the hands high, in towards the heart. Zigzag the toes back in towards the center line. Take a moment. Let your body feel the work that's just taken place. Okay. We'll take a little breath from there. We'll bring the feet together. Soften the knees over the toes. We'll get that little bend. Take the arms out wide. And to load into the right leg, coming into eagle, I'm going to wrap the left leg around best I can, which looks like it's a bit wobbly this morning. And then bring the left arm across, right arm over the top. Bending the elbows, bring the palms in. This is going to be fun. So. Okay. I'm going to release the arms back out. Untangle the legs. Bring the hands in towards the heart. Still got that little bend in the front leg. And come into warrior three. So just going to slowly lengthen out. Now with a bit of luck, the brick is still out to the front of the mat. Bring the hands down. Oops, didn't quite make it. Allow myself to get into a nice warrior three. And then I'll soften the front knee. Bring the foot down to the floor. Turn the heel in. Lift back up into warrior two. Turn the palm on the front hand for reverse warrior. Come back into warrior two. Inhale the hands high, spin the back heel for crescent. Bring the hands to the floor and step it into the front of the mat. Allow myself to lift. Soft knees and a flat back. So this will be interesting to see if I can do the second side, at least as well as the first. So bringing the feet together, soften the knees. Take the arms out wide. Load into the left leg. Wrap the right leg around. And bring the right arm across. Left arm over the top. And then release. Bring the hands back in towards the heart. Slowly move into the warrior three. See if you can find the block. Trickier than it looks. Much easier with two. I'll soften the front knee. Bring the heel in. Come into warrior two. Turn the palm on the front hand, reverse warrior. Back into warrior two. Inhale, hands high. Spin the back heel. We come into our high crescent. Bring the hands gently to the floor. Take a little breath. Step it into the forward fold. Hands onto the hips. And lift up. Inhale high with the hands. Into the heart. And take a moment. Closing the eyes if you wish. Well, open the eyes back up. Step back into middle of the mat. And just bring that block back into place. So kind of crosswise the mat. We come into a squat, just taking the heels onto the corner edges. Hands in towards the heart and slowly easing myself down as if there's a wall behind. So you draw the tailbone down, belly in. Allow yourself to take a little time to come in. Get down nice and low. And then we're going to bring the fingers deliberately to the floor. I'm going to walk the left hand out until it gets flat to the floor. So start to take a lean to the left through the spine and pressing the arm and the leg together on that side. You're going to open the chest to the right And extend the hand out behind me, so coming into a twist. Now you can, if you wish to, stay here or wrap the top arm around towards the left hip. Slide the fingers along the floor behind you and see if you can get those fingers to meet into a bind. No matter if you're getting the hands close, you keep the chest nice and open. Release from there. Bring the hands back out in front of ourselves. Walk the right hand out till it flattens into the floor nice and easily. Get that little bit of rotation through the spine, a little bit of lean, the arm and the leg working together. Open the chest out to the left side and take the hand up. You have the option to stay there or wrap that arm around. Towards the opposite hip. Slide the fingers back, send the palm up towards the sky, a little hook. Trying to open the chest, whichever position you chose. Keep the shoulders relaxed, let them open. You can fight a little bit. And we'll release from there. Bring the hands to the floor again. And I'm just going to lift off the heels, move the block a little bit further back, and then extend the legs out in front gently. I'm just going to take a breath here and draw the left leg under and out to the right hip. Right leg across, take that left arm up and take the twist to the right. So the previous move, we opened the chest. This time we're closing the chest down. And we'll release from there. Take it across to the other side, nice and slowly. Release. Keeping the legs back to the front of the mat. Heels and toes together, figure flexed. And take a little breath here. Bring the right heel in, knee down to the floor, a little bend in the knee as we draw the hips square. Flex foot, bring the hands onto the shin and fold forwards and over that front thigh. Allow the head to drop a little gently towards the end of that stretch forwards. You're still trying to move in the forward direction. You can let the head relax a little bit. And we'll lift back up. And swap it over to the other side. to allow the head to hang just a little bit more than perhaps we do in most of the classes that I teach. Letting it drop completely, but I'm certainly letting it hang down rather than trying to draw the head towards the front of the mat. Drawing the rest of the body, just letting the head hang. I'll lift out of there. Walk ourselves back up. We'll take the feet out nice and wide. Slide a little bit onto the front edge of the sitting bones. Take the hands forwards and then walk them as far out as we can. And then take them out wide and with the feet pointing up towards the sky. See if you can bring your hands onto the inside of the arch of the foot. Wrap the hands around. And then keeping the body where it is, drawing the chest forwards, allow yourself to press out through the heels a little bit, just to keep those legs nice and long. The belly drawn in a little bit. Draw the thighs in, press out through the heels. Release the hands, walk them back in, let ourselves lift up. Use the hands underneath those legs, draw them back in. Then move off of the block. Bring that towards the back and then slide my bolster towards the front edge of the mat. Ease my way down. So I've still got a couple of poses left in me. Just adjust my trousers a little bit. Sitting on the waistband completely. And I'll take the arms out nice and wide. And just shimmy a little to the left. Let the legs come to the right. And we'll lift legs slowly back up, recenter the spine and shimmy equal amount over to the right, legs to the left. Back into the center. Draw the knees in towards the chest. Gonna have the quickest happy baby. Slide the hands down the shins towards the feet. This long spine. And then present the soles of the feet to the sky. Draw the thighs down. Draw the tailbone down. Draw the belly down. Release. Bring the feet to the floor and roll that bolster underneath the back of my thighs. completely optional. And the bolster could easily be a cushion or a rolled up blanket or a towel. And then once you're in position, make sure the heels are on the floor and that the legs are completely supported. They're not hanging in the air. Allow yourself to wriggle through the pelvis and just work out what feels good in terms of the line in the spine and the pelvis together. Rolling the shoulders down into the ground, wriggles everywhere. And closing the eyes, offering the jaw a nice long exhale to let everything sink. We'll begin to stretch our fingers and toes. Let the wrists and the ankles begin to move. Take a deeper breath. Stretch it out. Ease the legs gently in towards the body. So that gentle little hug. And then roll the legs over and your body towards the right side. Take the breath on the floor. And then exhale to lift. Back into easy sitting posture. And the hands coming towards the heart. Open, close the eyes. Take a breath. Lift the chin. Draw the belly in. Bow to the floor. See our practice. Inhale, let the breath lift the spine. Let the head follow and the eyes open. Namaste. Thank you very much for joining me this morning. Hope you enjoyed it. and see you on the mat again soon.